Sometimes you just want to play and immerse yourself in a single player game. So in this one, we're rounding up all of the most exciting upcoming single player games that you need to have on your radar. And if you find this video helpful, make sure to click like and subscribe down below to support the channel. We're going to kick it off with Final Fantasy XVI. It's an upcoming action role-playing game developed by Square Enix exclusively for PlayStation 5. It's the 16th game of the mainline Final Fantasy series, and the story is set to follow the characters Clive, Joshua, and Joe in a fancy location known as Valisthea, where the world is controlled by 6 unique factions. Square Enix has been pretty dark on Final Fantasy XVI since its announcement, but producer Yoshi P mentioned that we should be getting more news this spring. Next, we have to talk about Kingdom Hearts 4, the newest installment in the beloved RPG series that was officially announced as part of the 20th Kingdom Hearts anniversary. It's set with Sora and his friend Donald and Goofy on a brand new adventure titled the Lost Master Arc. It's a brand new arc set after the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's Remind DLC. There's currently no dates or platforms yet in typical Square Enix fashion, so we probably won't hear more about this for a little while, but I'm definitely excited to jump back into the world of Kingdom Hearts, playing as Sora alongside all of your Disney favourite characters. We have to mention Black Myth Wukong next, which is an upcoming action role-playing game developed by Chinese indie developer Game Science, based on the classical 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West. The game has been described as a Souls-like game where you of course control a monkey. It looks very interesting both mechanically and graphically, so I can't wait until we can learn more about this one. Next up is Marvel's Wolverine. It's an upcoming action video game developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 5. Not much is known about this one other than that it's currently in development, so we have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that this new Wolverine game is going to be amazing. Next up is Spider-Man 2. It's pretty safe to say that Insomniac have absolutely nailed the superhero formula when it comes to Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and with Spider-Man 2 officially announced, it's nice to know that we're in good hands and can look forward to another installment in the Spider-Man video game series. Whilst the trailer didn't give us too much to go on, it does give us an incredible Venom tease that as a Venom fan I'm incredibly excited to see him in this next new Spider-Man 2 game. Next up, we need to talk about Lies of P. This is shaping up to be a very Bloodborne-esque game with a bit of Pinocchio sprinkled into it. It's set in the early 1800s, almost Victorian style era, probably to match the era where Pinocchio was actually written in 1883. You wake up at an abandoned train station in Krat, a city overwhelmed by madness and bloodlust, and in front of you lies a single note that reads, "Find Mr. Geppetto, he's here in the city." You play as Pinocchio, a puppet mechanoid, and fight through everything in your path to find this mysterious person. But don't expect any help along the way, and don't make any mistakes of trusting anyone. You must also lie to others if you hope to become a human. Next up is Pragmata, an upcoming science fiction action-adventure video game developed by Capcom, set to release for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Windows. It was originally slated for 2022, but it was later changed to 2023. Pragmata is set in a dystopian near future on Earth's moon, and will use the RE engine. Next is the Callisto Protocol, an upcoming third-person survival horror game scheduled for release in 2022. The game's being developed by Striking Distance Studios and is funded by Glenn Schofield, who previously co-created the Dead Space series. The Callisto Protocol is set in the PUBG Battlegrounds universe, taking place in 2320 at a prison colony called the Black Iron. It's operated by the United Jupiter Company and is located on Jupiter's moon Callisto. The player takes the role of a prisoner held at Black Iron, finding themselves in the midst of an alien invasion that appears to have been engineered by the prison's warden. This one looks incredible, but we'll need to wait until we can see more about it. Up next is Bayonetta 3, an upcoming action video game in development by Platinum Games and published by Nintendo, exclusively for Nintendo Switch. This is the third entry in the Bayonetta series, following Bayonetta 2 back from 2014, and is currently slated for 2022 release. Next is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, an upcoming open-world action-adventure video game based on James Cameron's Avatar film series. The game is being developed by Massive Entertainment and is set to tell a standalone story from the Avatar universe. Next up is Plague Tale Requiem, where you'll go on a journey into a brutal but breathtaking world and discover the cost of saving those you love in a desperate struggle for survival. You can strike from shadows, unleash hell with a variety of weapons, tools, and unearthly powers. And next is Little Devil Inside, a quirky indie game where you take on the role of an adventurer named Billy who's been hired to catalogue all phenomenon in existence. The game features permadeath and is supposed to be very satirical, as it will show you grand highs and abysmal lows of adventuring. You get to explore a large map, upgrade your gear and weapons, tackle fearsome characters and foes along your adventure, and it also has roguelike elements, co-op and character creation. And next is the Lord of the Rings Gollum, an upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Daedalic Entertainment. It's based on the Lord of the Rings and follows the character Gollum before the events of the Lord of the Rings series. So if you're a Gollum fan, this one might just be for you. Breath of the Wild 2 is of course one to mention, an upcoming open world adventure for Nintendo Switch, but recently got delayed till next year 2023. It's not all bad news though, because we did get a little teaser with some more footage of a longer head Link with a banged up Master Sword, so there's a bit of intrigue and wonder as to what's going on with Breath of the Wild 2. And next is Metroid Prime, an upcoming video game developed by Retro Studios for the Nintendo Switch. It was announced during an online showcase at E3 2017 and was reportedly initially developed by Bandai Namco Studios, but in early 2019 the development was restarted under Retro Studios, who were the developers of the previous Metroid Prime games. Even Kensuke Tanabe, who worked on the first Prime games, returned as producer for this, so this is good news for any Metroid fans. Next we have to talk about Alan Wake 2, an upcoming survival horror video game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing. This is a sequel to the 2010 Alan Wake game and is also going to be powered by Remedy's own Northlight engine and will be a survival horror game as opposed to Alan Wake, which was an action game with horror elements. Next up is God of War 2, taking place 3 years after the events of the previous game. With the prophesized Ragnarok on the horizon, and now teenage Atreus is still reeling from the revelations of the past previous game and is seeking answers about his own identity, as well as trying to find a way to prevent Ragnarok from happening. He and Kratos will set out to find answers and will search for the giant Norse god of war. Whilst travelling the 9 realms, the duo must face new threats including Thor, the enraged god of thunder, and Freya, their former friend and ally who now seeks vengeance following the death of her son. Next is Starfield, which is Bethesda's new and upcoming RPG set in space. Not much is known about its mechanics, but it's safe to say we'll see some similarities from their previous works on the Elder Scrolls series as well as the Fallout series. We're going to be getting spaceships, upgrades, space travel, and we're just going to have to wait and see until June until we can hear more about it. Next is Stalker 2, and if you like post-apocalyptic games and landscapes, then Stalker 2 will be just for you. You take on the role of a lone stalker and explore this photorealistic, seamless open world in a 64 square kilometer radioactive zone with a variety of environments that reveal post-apocalyptic atmospheres from different angles. You make your way through the zone to define your destiny as you choose your path within a highly branching epic story. Next is Sonic Frontiers, where we finally get our own open world Sonic game. Sonic Frontiers is described as an experience like never before. Accelerate to new heights and experience the thrills of high velocity open zone freedom. Battle with powerful enemies as you speed through the Starfall Islands, landscapes brimming with dense forests, overflowing waterfalls, sizzling deserts, and more. And next is The Outer Worlds 2, a new star system, a new crew, but the same Outer Worlds. There isn't much to go on, but it does confirm a new setting with new characters, and at this point it's too early to tell where the game will take place, but we can hope for a nice change of scenery. Much like the Fallout games, you can choose how to respond to certain characters, which can lead to various branching paths within the story. There's a deep level of customization, not just with your gear, but also with your attributes and skills that really allow you to tailor your character to your own playstyle. And next is The Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda are at it again with another Elder Scrolls game in the works, but again there's not much known about this except that we can hope that in the upcoming Bethesda Xbox showcase we might see some more about it. Honestly, we're now very tired of playing Skyrim after 10 years, so hopefully Elder Scrolls 6 will be coming out soon. Next is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the 4th entries in the Monolith Soft's RPG series, and is releasing this June. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 features an entirely new cast of characters with an updated battle system featuring an anime-inspired fusion system. Next is Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope. This is an upcoming tactical RPG by Ubisoft Milan, and it's a sequel to the 2017's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and features a new and improved tactical combat system that moves away from the grid-focused XCOM style gameplay of the original and now feels more closer to the Divinity series. It's set to feature an eclectic cast of characters, including the addition of Rabbids Rosalina. There's no release date yet, but we have heard that it's supposed to be arriving on Nintendo Switch this year. Next is Live Alive, a remake for Nintendo Switch, and is scheduled for release on July 22nd of 2022. The game follows 7 distinct scenarios scattered across different time periods, with 2 more unlockable scenarios linking the narratives together through the reoccurring antagonist ODO, and gameplay is split between exploration with story-specific twists and turn-based combat played out on a grid. And next up is Forspoken. If you like isekais and parkour, then Forspoken is definitely for you. It follows the journey of Frey, a young New Yorker who's transported into a beautiful but cruel land of Athea. In search of a way home, Frey must use her newfound magic abilities to travel the sprawling landscapes and battle monstrous creatures. So that's it. Did we miss any? If we did, let us know in the comments down below, and of course show support to the channel by clicking like and subscribing down below, or click the videos on screen now because we have other videos on the channel that we think you will really enjoy if you enjoyed this one.